Morning Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston. Across from me is Mr. Charles Kenny Thompson over here. Kenny Thompson, that's a pretty good name, too. You sure you don't want to go by that? That's a pretty good one.
I don't know. I gave Parker the middle name of Michael.
Michael.
I felt like either one was a strong name.
I think I'm going to give you the middle name Kenny. Now, I just like how Kenny Thompson sounds. It sounds like a country singer.
It's pretty close to there. Keanu.
I know. I'm just saying, Kenny Thompson, that's going to work. Hey, it's Dumb Bleep of the Week. It's Friday right now. Dumb Bleep of the Week is the day of the week where we go through the dumbest things that have happened over the week. And the live group, the Fed Haters Club, who join via joingml.com, they get to vote on what the dumbest thing is. Some of the stuff in this came from them. Some of the stuff in here came from me. And so we're going to go through those. This one is more of a...
And none of it came from me.
None of it. We know that for sure. That's like the 100% thing that we know is that none of it came from Charlie.
I think I submit one or two a year.
The problem with your submissions is that you don't go through proper channels.
Because I think that I have like a relationship, that I could...
Yeah. Well, the issue is that you don't send them through things that... See, all that matters is that last night between the hours of 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. when I was putting this together is that it comes across my radar last night between 8 and 11 p.m. Yeah. And so it had to be in the private Discord or it had to be in our bookmarks on X. Nothing else is going to come across my radar right then. And right. Most of the time you send them on apps that I don't use anymore, and I never check messages. And so I don't know. You could text it to me and I wouldn't see it. Yeah. So anyhow,
you would think if you knew your co-host of a show, you could maybe like say, hey, have you thought about this? And they'll be like, oh, yeah. But no, you've got to do what everyone else does, which is fine. Yeah, it's rules for thee and rules for me. Yes, we both have rules. Yes. That is accurate. How do you submit yours?
I bookmark them under dumb on X. And so that's how I see them. This is more of a true dumb bleep of the week. By that, I mean we are covering mostly things that we have already covered this week. We've already talked, like for 2 days this week, we talked about, we did like Intel and the flag burning thing. And then the next day we did the flag burning thing again. And then we had a mass shooting. And now we have dumb bleep of the week. And so most of these things are going to be things we've already talked about. Hopefully that will help us go faster because, just so everyone knows, if you're upset that your submission didn't make it in, Charlie has to leave and go down to the beach ASAP as soon as we finish this episode. His truck's already going to be started probably by the time we finish this episode.
It's not fully packed.
And still got to pack and all that. Yeah, I know.
Oh, I'm packed.
So
the truck's not fully packed and... Someone else may not be packed. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, it's not important to mention who else isn't fully packed. No. Okay, here we go. This one should be really quick. We've done like an hour of our thoughts on many of these things, so it should be very easy. We're going to start with Trump's post about Intel this week, which is why it qualifies for this week, because this actually happened last week. But anyhow, he said, I paid $0 for Intel. It is worth approximately $11 billion. All goes to the USA. Why are stupid people unhappy with that? I will make deals like that for our country all day long. I will also help those companies that make such lucrative deals with the United States. I love seeing their stock price go up, making the USA richer and richer, more jobs for America. Who would not want to make deals like that? So
I love how he takes responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Not we. Yeah. Even though this goes to the US, he's like, I paid $0 for Intel.
He's a deal maker.
Which is true, by the way. He didn't pay anything.
He didn't. You did.
You did. It was taxpayer dollars.
Yes. There was, in fact,
those seems like an easy deal to make. You know? Like, Nate, I could make you some deals. Just give me some money.
Yeah. Actually, if you don't give me the money, I'm going to put you in prison, and then I'm going to use it to buy another company's stock.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of deal that was made here. And so there was, in fact, a little over $11 billion exchanged for these shares, and it was $11 billion of taxpayer money that was exchanged for these shares on behalf of the taxpayers against their will, without their say-so. So that's that was the first thing we had an issue with to continue.
This is a MAFA.
Yeah.
Make America fascist again.
It already was, so you can't do it again. And by the way, when we are inevitably going to use the word fascist in talking about this, we don't mean fascist like how the left uses fascist when they're talking about Trump, okay? They use it like this Hitler. Racist Hitler wants to exterminate a certain group of people, all that kind of stuff. That's not it. We're talking about economics here, and fascism is in fact an ideology that has a specific kind of economics behind it.
But you can say fascism, the economic system of fascism, sets up the power structure that leads to dictators like, I would say Mussolini's probably fits more in the fascist dictator realm than Hitler.
Yes.
Hitler was a mixture of fascism and socialism.
Yeah. It also fits very well with ironically, the Chinese Communist Party. We've said this before on the show. China's not communist. They're really not. They're way more fascist than they would be the definition of communism. They do allow private owners to own companies in China, but the government controls them and has some ownership with them. So it's much closer to that. Here's Howard Lutnick saying, this is not socialism, this is capitalism, this Intel deal.
Right? The Biden administration had given $11 billion to Intel, given it to them, done. Corporate just gift. And you turn that into really, it was like less than 5 minutes of conversation. And Intel agreed to give us 10% of their company, which of course was worth $11 billion. So it's not socialism. This is capitalism. If you give someone $11 billion who's just building in America, they're not doing something special. They're building in America. And their CEO told the president he didn't need the grant. And you said, well, then why don't we get something for it?
Okay. This is capitalism, Charlie.
Yeah, these are the people in the government.
With capitalists like these, who needs socialists and fascists? That's what I would say. That really gets my blood boiling hearing someone say that, because, like, of course, you give someone $11 billion, you should obtain an ownership stake in that. But the problem with this is that how did you obtain the $11 billion to give to them? You stole it from people under the threat of imprisonment, and you gave it to them. Do you think there's going to be more or less of this happening after so many people on the left have already been in favor of doing this? So many people on the right are all of a sudden in favor of doing this. And so how many more times are we going to do this? Probably a lot more times. Where are they going to get the money to do this? They're going to take it from you and do this.
And by the way, this is in line with the modern monetary theory, which is it's fine for the government to print money because they're going to invest it. Mm-hmm. And you get a return on that investment, so the debt doesn't really matter. It cancels out, and plus you're going to get a return on it. So why not print the money? And if we're going to go down this route, let's do it. Everybody gets $1 billion.
That does actually.
You get $1 billion, and you get $1 billion, and everybody gets $1 billion. We'll just keep printing money. We'll make sure the government invests enough of that money printing to where we get a return somehow, and everybody will be fine.
Yeah, and of course what's going to happen here is if things don't go well for Intel, they're going to keep giving them more and more money. But you make a good observation there with the modern monetary theory. It kind of reminded me that the $11 billion we gave them, we took out a loan to give them that $11 billion. I wouldn't recommend anyone takes out a loan and goes and buys some stock in a company. And that is what they did. We are paying interest on it. So we've actually got to make more money off of that investment into Intel, which has not been doing very well, which is that this is actually a bailout because Intel's been doing really terribly. While like all the chip stocks, the whole chip sector has been at all-time highs, Intel's just been not going anywhere at all because it sucks. And so it's a perfect company for the government to be involved with. It's just it's already government, just right off the bat. The last part of this is that we had not given Intel that entire $11 billion. There was at least 5 or 6, but we had given them, paid out, like to them, $2.2 billion. The rest of it was allocated in or appropriated in the CHIPS Act. And then another $3 billion came from the Department of Defense, also under Biden. Don't know for sure whether or not that had actually been given to them yet. But this is something that could have been taken back in a rescissions package. You know that the time that we did a massive rescissions package, that $9 billion that they rescinded in funding, it's like half a day of funding that they rescinded. This could have been pulled back in a rescissions package. And so they're saying, well, Biden already gave this to them. Well, you could have taken it back if you wanted to. The problem here is that they didn't want to, and they don't want to say that. They want to have partial ownership of companies. That's not good.
No,
it's not a good thing. Okay, let's get to. I'm going to skip past another thing I had here. Number 2, another thing in Scotland, the girl.
Oh yeah,
the knife and the hatchet. First off, here's a really funny thing. In the BBC's story, and this might be common among other publications that are .uk. In the BBC story, and they post a picture of the girl, they had to blur out the knife and the hatchet for some reason.
Well, it's disturbing.
It's so. Not only that, like is Jeremy Kaufman that pointed this out to that where I originally saw. They even blurred out the bottom of the handles.
Yeah,
it's like it's not just a blade; it's the handles. And so everyone's left just wondering what it is she's holding. There's just no way of knowing.
Those are offensive.
I'm so glad they blurred out these offensive. And actually, you use that word. That actually might be the reason they're considered. They keep calling them offensive weapons in the UK, and I guess they have to blur them out.
But you see them; they're scary.
I just can't even imagine.
Have you never watched a scary movie in the UK?
No.
Same. They blur out all the weapons. And, the scary movies, you can't. That's why Jason Statham and all those guys, they come over here to make their action movies.
Yeah. So there's two parts. There's 2 parts to this dumb. One is that they had to blur out the weapons. That's really dumb. The other dumb is that the girl's getting in trouble for having a knife and a hatchet. Now, you could make the argument like, okay, she's like 12 years old. I don't know what rules are for 12-year-olds having.
Did they help motivate him and radicalize him to carry out this shooting?
I don't know. Do you know?
I don't know why they radicalized anybody.
Where did that come from?
Something just started playing.
That was from here. That was from this. That was from that. Anyone see me hit a play button on this random video over here?
Nope.
That's weird. Okay. Thanks, Apple, for that. That's that censorship they got to do. We're talking about this issue over here. The other thing is that she got in trouble that like anyone would have gotten in trouble for having an offensive weapon like this knife that was too long. As far as the story goes itself, the reason we didn't talk about this at all this week one bit is because it's disputed, and I get like the government's disputing it. The journalists and media are sort of disputing it, but those are all from the UK. I don't trust them either. It's just given the video and everything, it's sort of a he said, she said thing, and I can't tell which way is up when it comes to the video. The claim is that he was harassing, maybe touching, something like that, one of the girls, and she's saying, get away from my sister, she's 12, or whatever's going on in the video.
There's also a pretty big rape problem happening
now There's a big issue. People are getting real upset about all the migrant crime and all that. This person is a legal immigrant from Bulgaria, I believe, is the country. People are also upset about legal immigration over there as well. So that fits too. But there's 2 dumbs we can do for sure, which is one, that they had to blur this out on a major news publication. It can't show a knife and a hatchet in a photo, and 2, that people can just get in trouble for having a knife in public that's too long was the issue, I believe. It was too. I think I heard that it was too long is the problem. So that's enough to make it dumb. Anyway, number 3, I don't know if people are going to agree with me thinking this is so dumb. But I wanted, when I saw this, I saved it under dumb. on our X channel. And this is Charlie Kirk weighing in response to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting engaged. Did you see his response?
No.
So here's my issue. Actually, we'll play his video. Hopefully not the whole thing. I don't know where this stuff actually happens, but we'll play the video and then I'll tell you what my issue is. And maybe you guys will completely disagree with me thinking this is dumb, but that's fine. I muted that because I muted it because the random video started playing. That was my first reaction there. Wait, one.
But maybe one of the reasons why Taylor Swift has been so just kind of annoyingly liberal over the last couple of years is that she's not yet married and she doesn't have children.
It's possible.
I say this non-sarcastically. I say this as a husband and a father. Having children changes you. Getting married changes you. And I hope that America's biggest pop star marrying the pharmaceutical spokesperson ends up conservatizing them. Taylor Swift might de-radicalize herself. She might come back down to reality. I want them to have lots of children. It teaches you something about yourself. Deep down, I think Taylor Swift actually was raised as a conservative that has gotten kind of caught up in this metropolitan liberal stuff, and she doesn't quite have an attachment to the conservative backbone that she was raised in, but this might reattach her in the best possible way. And I'm not saying this sarcastically. I've seen this happen time and time again. When people start to get married and have children, it starts to change your politics.
Just so everyone knows, I agree with everything he said so far. I'm trying to get to the part that I just think is a terrible tactical move on his part if you truly want things to change.
Yeah.
It starts to clarify your worldview.
Well, pause real quick.
We'll
make commentary on what he's saying. He's boiling it down to politics, but really it's deeper than that. Mm-hmm. It's more of a psychological change. See, we're all born with a bit of narcissism, right? Self-preservation. You care about self. When you have children, that changes you. Now, not everybody. People can grow up without having children, but a lot of people can't. A lot of people can't fully grow up until they're responsible for something other than themselves. That really forces you to love in a sacrificial way. And that is what he's getting at a psychological level. It's not really politics. Now, I do think that psychology plays into politics. So there's a pathway there. But having children doesn't make you conservative. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of...
a lot of people with kids who aren't.
A lot of people with kids who are still very liberal or libertarian even.
Yeah.
So he's kind of missing the mark a little bit on that. But there is, and even some women in the group are saying, as a changed woman, this is a fair take. There is some, and it boils down to adopting responsibility and almost being forced to. Like when you get married and you have children, you're forced to, if you want it to work, mm-hmm. you're forced to adopt a certain level of responsibility that changes your psychological or psyche outtake or look at life. And that's what he's really getting at, which is true.
You also, I think as a parent, which I'm not, but I would imagine at one point have to make the decision, how should I raise this person in order to raise them to be the best person I can, possibly raise them to be. Yeah.
And do I trans them?
Yeah.
Or
exactly. So you got to go through do I do it this way? What's that going to look like? Do I do it this way? What's that going to look like? And so I do think
I teach him or her that they're a victim? Mm-hmm. And they might as well.
And then play that out for your kid.
As well
how's that going to go?
Have wished that I would have aborted them instead of having them.
Yeah.
Because they're such a victim. Or do I teach them that, hey, life's hard, but if you work hard, if you meet hard with hard, then life turns out all right.
All right, I'm going to I don't know where this actually happens in here, but so I'm going to play the video just a little bit more. Also, I was going to tell you, I hear Taylor Swift is actually a really nice person. As someone who, my wife, when she was waiting tables, waited on Taylor Swift a couple times, says she's super nice, one of the nicer people that she
clearly didn't leave a big enough tip.
Yeah. Should have left a tip closer that closer represented her wealth.
I mean, she's a billionaire.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. You guys should
I believe everyone should tip just like everyone else.
Your mortgage should be paid off.
I believe in a flat tip. Okay. All right, here we go.
Swift, who obviously is very popular and incredibly supported. Taylor Swift might go from a cat lady to a J.D. Vance supporter. And I think we should celebrate that. I think that Taylor Swift having 2 or 3 children, she should have more children than she has houses. That is my challenge, Taylor Swift. And I'm not being sarcastic. I think that if she ends up having children, she'll stop this kind of liberal endorsing Joe Biden nonsense. And we want Taylor Swift on Team America. We want you to leave the island of the wokies. And we would welcome you with open arms. One of the reasons why so many people on the right have been just skeptical or at least a little bit negative on Taylor Swift is up until this point, that's not a great role model for young women to wait all the way until you're 35 and just put your career first. We just talked about this with Katie Miller. However,
it turns out the part I'm looking for is at the very end of this clip.
There's a great chance to change that. It's a great chance for Taylor Swift now to get married and have a ton of children. You can certainly afford it, Taylor. And Taylor Swift has been all, through America and the ups and the downs. And if you feel that violent shaking in your home, that is the earthquake of the pop culture. If you hear that
ugly.
high-pitched scream, those are the young ladies on your block screaming.
That thing is ugly.
And honestly, Pfizer pays well, baby.
It's not that bad.
I mean, Pfizer pays the bills. That is quite a ring, Mr. Kelsey. I'm impressed. I got to be honest. We don't know exactly how much Pfizer paid you to peddle
carats, I believe.
that product, but boy,
is that what they're saying?
You brought in the Benjamins, sir.
And it's a vintage
that is some
diamond.
Impressive.
It's got like 54
that is some impressive
facets
carats right there. That right there has its own zip code. I'm impressed. All kidding and sarcasm aside.
His mic picks up everything.
This is something that I hope will make Taylor Swift more conservative. Engage in reality more and get outside of the abstract clouds. Reject feminism. Submit to your husband, Taylor. You're not in charge. And most importantly, I can't wait to go to a Taylor Kelsey.
Now, unfortunately, the submit to your husband part is what got all the news this week. And I understand that. I think the submit to your husband thing is, okay, it's in the Bible. Says that. Mm-hmm. There's more words afterwards for the husband as well.
Oh, yeah.
But that's, we did our vows. We didn't leave the submit, I will submit thing in there. I think that, I don't know, it just doesn't sound right. And even if it makes sense, let's not even talk biblically right now. What is your goal? The whole goal that he just lined out is that he wants Taylor Swift's fans to see that she is going down a traditionalist path. She's going to get married, hopefully have kids, stuff like that. And that you can reject feminism and all that. And so you're making that argument. This is what you want to see. And you're like, and also don't forget, submit to your husband. You are not in charge. And I'm just like, dude, you just want to ruin this whole thing? I get the excitement over it for conservatives because this whole idea that you're going to girl boss your way through life and don't need a man and don't need a family and don't need any of that stuff at all. I think, it's great if some people want to do it. I don't think it's going to be great for like the furtherance of our species or anything like that, And so I get that, but I don't understand I don't understand the necessity to throw in the rule that you need to submit to your husband and that you're not in charge at the end of it.
I get it. I know you don't want to talk biblically. There's the biblical principle.
I'm saying we can't. I'm just saying to look at it from a wide view so no one gets caught up in whether or not they believe it or not, the tactics. But biblical principle.
No, I'm just saying there's a practical reason for that direction, let's say. It doesn't mean that women are less equal. It just means that there has to be a decision maker. Mm-hmm. Like if you come to an impasse in a marriage, the answer shouldn't be divorce. The answer should be one person needs to make the decision, essentially. But the person making that decision has to make it on the pretext that they love their wife as Christ loved the church and died for her. Mm-hmm. So it has to be a sacrificial, loving decision.
Yes.
It's not I'm better than you, so I get to make the decision.
It's not I'm the man, I'm in charge, and
it's not
I've got
I'm in
physical
charge.
power over
what
you.
I have a problem. What he said there is you're not in charge. That's where I think it actually went wrong, because that's not what it's about. And see, a lot of men, this is a problem. I think a lot of men, and I would put this up with toxic masculinity. They read a certain thing and they think, oh, well, I'm in charge. I have power over you. That's not it. I mean, and see, this is why, this is why they hung Jesus on a cross. They thought that Jesus was going to come for the church, for Israel, for God's people, and be king. And when he came as a humble servant, they're like, well, this can't be the Messiah. Yeah, I know he just, he just raised that guy from the dead, but he's supposed to be king and overthrow Rome.
Just to clarify, when you say they hung him on the cross, you're talking about the Romans, right?
It was the Jews. They decided it.
I need to go.
I mean, this is pretty solid historical evidence.
Well, they didn't do it. They contracted someone else to do it.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. They got Rome to commit the act.
Yes.
So they conspired with Rome.
Okay.
It was all planned. But no, when Pontius Pilate was up there asking, which one do you want, Barnabas or Jesus? And they said, give us Barnabas. Like, I think Barnabas was a murderer, or at least a thief. I can't remember. They're basically like, yeah, give us the criminal. We'll accept him. Hang Jesus. Mm-hmm. The crowd really decided, because Pilate's ultimate goal was for his own sake and for Rome. Let's make sure we don't cause such a riot by hanging the wrong person here. The crowd decided, which, by the way, the crowd was full of Jews.
And that's the problem with democracy.
Or Barabbas, sorry,
right
not
there.
Barnabas, Barabbas.
Barnacle. All right, that's number 3. Agree or disagree. When I saw it, I thought it was dumb and a terrible tactic. Like, if I were Taylor Swift and I saw that clip going viral, I'd say, F you, Charlie Kirk and conservatives. I'm going to boss this guy around as much as I possibly can. Anyhow, here's number 4. This is the flag burning thing that we've talked about plenty of times. We'll play just a little clip of Donald Trump talking about this, and then we'll roll through some other things.
Man, I tell you what, this administration has really taken the turntable on us.
Mm-hmm.
It's been,
to be fair,
the rhetoric for the first 100 days, I mean, I had a Liberty boner I couldn't keep down. I was going to call my doctor.
You called them about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that 100 days, I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the left was right. This is a slippery slope of authoritarianism.
So I've questioned a few times whether or not this is what they were talking about. He did free Ross.
He freed Ross.
I wish Ross would burn a flag on video. That's kind of what I want to see. Don't cause a riot.
I got the flags out, by the way. We just haven't had time to film ourselves burning
find
it
a
yet.
lighter.
But we're going to do it.
Yeah. I've been less inclined to do it once we found out that the executive order doesn't say what Trump says it says. So, like, we'd be burning the flag against Trump's rhetoric and against, like, the guys at the Daily Wire, basically, but not against the executive order. Because burning a flag...
I'm burning it for views.
Yeah. Just to clarify.
I don't know what you're burning it for.
I would want to burn it to tell them screw you, but I'm not telling them screw you because that's not what the executive order says. And so it's kind of a pointless burning of a flag other than getting the views, which makes it not pointless. Could make some money
other than
X.
I'm not going to let the president of the United States tell me what I can and can't do
That's
with my own.
That's true.
With my own free will.
To be fair, for Trump,
and property.
He said this on the campaign trail. He said this before the election, that he wanted to criminalize burning the flag and he wanted to punish you for a year in prison.
It's very popular among the base.
This is not a surprise. This is something that he said he wanted to do. He kept all of those things in. He's got all these things in the bag. National Guard. He's got the flag burning thing. He's got plenty of other stuff, maybe caps on credit card rates, stuff like that. A whole bunch of stuff in his bag. So when the media cycle dies down and people start to remember the Epstein thing again, he can roll out another thing right afterwards. Like, he's got a whole list of crazy stuff he said on the campaign trail that he got cheers to in the arena that they're waiting to roll out after the news cycle dies.
That's why he hasn't arrested Hillary yet.
Yeah, that's in the latter stages of
that's
people remembering Epstein.
That's if shit really hits the fan with Epstein and all this other scandal stuff, you pull out arresting Hillary.
You go after Hillary.
Everyone forgets about that.
All right, here's a little...
And that witch hunt can last for 2-3 years.
It could.
You know?
Yeah, that'd be a good news cycle right there.
Open borders and all of the other things he did to destroy our country. Let's go.
Lastly, sir, this is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your attorney general.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason, which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots.
So when we first played this, we laughed because this is ridiculous. But then we realized the legal reason for why they have to say it this way, and that's because the only way they can go after people for burning a flag is if they can call it some type of incitement or something that leads to violence or breach of peace or whatever it is. So you got to present this idea that everything was fine out there in the streets of LA until that guy burned that flag.
Yeah.
And then everything just went to hell in a handbasket afterwards. And so that's the
weaved
the
by those college students.
Yes,
basket weaving college students. Underwater. Yeah.
So
filled with hell.
So y'all know our thoughts on the flag thing. We disagree with Trump on this. We disagree with a lot of conservatives on this. We've made our opinions very clear on the matter of representing ideas and it not being a physical thing that needs to be protected, that the ideas themselves need to be protected, not the flag. And going after people for burning it actually destroys the ideas that the flag is supposed to represent. So you guys all know our thoughts on that. I want to get to another flip side of this.
Yes, Costco, I do think burning the flag will probably incite Chuck Schumer erection.
Yes, of course it will. Mm-hmm. We know that. That's in response to him, I'm guessing, because I don't have it pulled up, whether or not it's going to incite yours. Was that the question? I don't know. I don't have.
He just asked if it's going to incite one.
Oh yes, it will.
It will for Chucky Schumer.
The real dumb bleep I saw on this is from a lot of conservatives whose defense of this turned into, well, the left has criminalized things like burning the pride flag, or destroying the pride flag, or vandalizing pride murals, and since they did that, therefore, I think it's okay for us to criminalize burning the flag, which is roughly the logic that a 4-year-old would use. And I find it very disappointing coming from a bunch of people talking about raising your kids right and all that. I really will single out mostly people from the Daily Wire on this, but all these traditional family values and raising your kids right and all that. And also, if someone else is doing something that you believe is wrong, the proper response is to do the same thing that they are doing.
That's Torah.
Oh, okay. You said it, not me.
That's what Jesus came to upsee, an eye for an eye. The Old Testament, the Old Covenant. That's what Jesus came to tear down.
Okay, so Christopher Rufo... So some examples.
Look, if someone punches you in the face, you get to punch them back twice.
It's the right thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you'll see plenty of examples of this. Christopher Rufo, he pointed out a couple screenshots of people in jail for burning the pride flag, people facing 10 years in jail for making skid marks on a road mural, which is a really stupid thing for a city really stupid place for a city to put a mural on the road where people drive. But anyhow, he says, I'm sorry, but as long as this is the status quo, I'm not going to work myself into a state of hysteria about Trump's executive order on burning the American flag. And so like in this, you'll see they're saying, well, but if this wasn't the status quo, if the left had not gone after people for the pride flag and all that, then I would think it was wrong to criminalize burning the flag, which means you think it's wrong to criminalize burning the flag, but you're okay with that right now because other people do bad stuff. That's dumb. That's a really, really stupid principle to put out there. Another person saying, I will say Rufo makes a decent point. We've watched excessive criminal charges.
Imagine if Joe Biden signed an executive order that you weren't allowed to say a bad thing about the president. And the right would be up in arms about that. Like, what? You're taking away our free speech to say something bad about a president. But then Trump gets in office and was like, well, we're going to do the same thing for my administration because Biden did it. And and then the right's like, oh, yeah, this is a good thing. You know, if the left wouldn't have done this, then we don't want anybody talking bad about Trump either.
More specifically, if they had a law that said you couldn't say bad things about Biden himself, not the president, because then every president would probably be okay with that. So about Biden, and the right was all up in arms about it while Biden was in office. And so then their response when they came into office was, you also will go to prison if you say bad things about Trump.
Yeah.
So, we see that
and skipping
going on.
the principle of the matter.
Yeah. Michael Knowles from the Daily Wire, he screwed me into having to sit 4 hours for jury duty, by the way. So you'd have to be here earlier in the week to know why. He says, I love this executive order. It's one of my favorite executive orders he's ever issued. That's in response to someone saying, I haven't seen a single Trump supporter supporting this executive order. Plenty of Trump supporters supporting this executive order, by the way, and that both people are wrong. He also says that the Supreme Court ruling was wrongly decided. Another reason he supports this executive order is because he believes a Supreme Court ruling was wrong. I'm sure he also typically agrees when the left does that, when they decide they don't like what the Supreme Court decided and they do an executive order instead to try and get around it. He's like, well, they think it's wrong. So that's just, I'm saying it's a childish logic that you would never teach your kids to use this logic. And in my opinion, you would. I don't have any kids. Maybe you can have kids.
No, you wouldn't.
I don't know.
No, you're right.
Matt Walsh says, yes, make it a crime to burn the American flag. Desecration of the gay pride flag is already prosecuted as a hate crime in this country. That is stupid. No more double standards. If the sacred symbol of the LGBT cult is protected, American flags should be too. So he's saying my cult should be protected as well. James Lindsay posted out this thing, which I think Matt Walsh had a good response to, but it's Matt Walsh used to be against criminalizing flag burning. And so this could be like one of those Defiant L's posts or whatever. Matt Walsh just in 2019 said, I think burning the flag is stupid and gross, but obviously it is free speech. Free speech doesn't include desecrating a piece of cloth is a really weird position that cannot be intellectually justified. So he's saying that, yes, of course, burning the flag is free speech and you can't justify criminalizing it. He did respond back and say, hey, I changed my mind on an issue over 6 years. You got me. And so I did just want to show you that.
So he got dumber.
He got worse on an issue.
He's like, hey, by the way, over the last 6 years, I got dumber. Maybe I should lay off the Diet Coke.
The reason I left this in here was actually because someone made a really good point in here. And they said the scandal is that you're berating Americans for having the same opinion you had 6 years ago. Most American conservatives don't change their minds about protecting the Constitution. You haven't explained why you changed yours. I thought that was a really good comment that I really hadn't thought about on that level yet. But I have talked, like I talked about it on the Mises podcast earlier this week. I've changed my mind on a lot of stuff. I voted for Mitt Romney in 2012, okay? And so while we do berate people for having the same opinions that we used to have, it is important for us to remember that people can change on things as well. That's also important for Matt Walsh to remember that these people that are speaking have the exact same opinion that he had pre-COVID, basically. I don't know if the vaccine screwed with him or what it was. I don't know if he took it. It's anytime you can make a vaccine joke, that's fine. So I'm going to skip past some of this.
I want to respond to a comment in the group. I responded in the group, but I think it's a good analogy. It said, if I want to protest Michelin Tire Company, can I start a tire fire in front of their offices? Well, no, because in front of their offices is not your property. But if you wanted to burn a tire on your own property, you should be able to. Now, the EPA has regulations against that. So you might get a fine or jail time from the EPA on that, which I also think they shouldn't be allowed to do. If I want to burn a tire, I should be able to burn a tire.
Yeah.
But generally, most local and state or county codes, you can't burn fires in your fire pit.
And you also, what people are going to get in trouble for, like that veteran who got arrested after burning the flag right after this, got in trouble for setting a fire on public property in a public park. And so, yeah, places are going to have rules that you can't just set a fire. There's probably some kind of code in there saying that you can't set a fire in this public space. And so what's
again, it goes back to the principle of like your rights to freedom of speech or whatever it is, freedom of expression. It ends where another's begins. I can't express my rights while violating someone else's.
Yeah.
Those can't coexist.
What I am saying here, and I think what they're getting to is like, well, you can't just set a fire. You can't just go to a public park and set a fire if the place has a rule that says you can't set a fire there. Now, what's probably going to happen is they didn't used to go after people for that, and now they would go after people for that. You know, it's like, oh, that person set a fire, the thing burned up, it's gone now, everything's fine. You know, I'm not going to try to put this person in jail for doing that. But now the thing they set on fire was a flag, and so now I'm going to try and prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law for setting the fire on public property.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of that. Matt Walsh says rights are a religious concept. We're on Dumb Bleep number 4 right now at 9:48 a.m. Central. A spiritual doctrine, they have no meaning outside of that framework. A godless worldview can't account for rights. He's basically making the argument that our rights come from God. Without God, there are no natural rights for people, just so you know. Let's see. And then he's joking. He said, that's why it's so laughably absurd to hear people defend the right to burn the flag or to make porn. Really, God endowed us with the mystical right to burn our nation's flag and have sex on camera. This is a right inherent to our... So in making the case that it is God who gave us the rights, then, of course, anything that is outside of God's rules for people cannot, therefore, be a natural right for human beings, even if you're only hurting yourself and not other people, which means you can't micromanage every single thing that people do because it's in the Bible saying that you can't do that. That's the road he's going down and is using God this whole time. I had to make the point in a comment saying that he's preaching about God while arguing that humans should be imprisoned for burning his false idol, which is the American flag. Yeah. And okay, now we're on the Dumb Bleep number 5.
God, he said a lot in there that we need to respond to.
I know. As you know, Charlie.
Time is burning.
It is 9:50 a.m. right now, 9:49 a.m. right now, Central Time.
It is a good morning liberty.
It is. It is. Okay, now we are on to one that is about the Minnesota shooter, the Minnesota mass shooting. And this one, I believe, is categorized as people in the media. And I'm going to start with this idea from Mostly Peaceful Memes. They post out a picture of this trans person holding a rifle and a handgun and says, libertarians will look you dead in the eyes and tell you the founders wanted this person to own guns.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let
me look
at this person.
Hang on. Is that better? See my eyes better now. Took away the Kinney look.
The founders wanted this person to own guns.
Yes.
Okay. We got that out of the way. Because screw whatever it is you think about that. I get it. I maybe this person is crazy. I don't know. And guess what? I don't know. They haven't been found guilty by the government of doing anything to harm people. We talked a lot about this yesterday. You could go back to our show yesterday. The right moved on to this concept that trans people are inherently violent and dangerous for society, and we have identified them as the group of people that the Second Amendment does not cover. And I think that is complete BS. Not only that, it doesn't fit within any statistical argument at all, no philosophical, no moral argument whatsoever. And it is a massive slippery slope. And the right, apparently, over the last 8 months, has forgotten what a slippery slope is, I'm pretty sure. And so that's where we are right now. But now we're going to move through what will be more fun to listen to, which is...
I was going to make a point. If
go ahead.
They would have had a black guy with a gun. They could have made that founder's point.
Yes.
But
yes, Thomas Jefferson said, "No free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms."
Right.
I think that was Thomas Jefferson. I'm not sure which one it was. When I first, in my younger libertarian days, I thought that meant, well, if you can't own guns, that means you're not free as a human being. And then later on, I was like, oh, no, wait. He's talking about no one who's not a slave should have their guns taken away. But I think the principle goes either way. You know, you're ultimately a slave if they can't let you own guns. And that's what it means now.
That's a good way of looking at it.
In my book, here's Trey Gowdy talking on Fox News.
Our system is reactive. Something bad happens, we react to it. And what people are crying for now is, how can we prevent this? How can we stop it? And the only way to stop it is to identify the shooter ahead of time or keep the weapons out of their hands. And so we're going to have a conversation of freedom versus protecting children. I mean, how many school shootings does it take before we're going to have a conversation about keeping firearms out? It's always a young white male, almost always. I mean, did anyone this morning think, I wonder if that was a female? Did any of y'all think that? I mean, there's been one school shooting involving a female.
It was in Tennessee.
One. Yeah, Tennessee.
Powerful
That's
stuff.
what I mean. That's what we said yesterday.
Powerful stuff.
Keep guns out of the hands of white men.
Yeah, I mean, statistically, if you wanted to prevent.
Trey, you got any guns?
Yeah.
You better give them up.
Got to get those out statistically. The other thing he didn't mention was hardening the soft targets. He says there's only two ways, and that's stopping them, before, which I guess maybe that could be security. Maybe that is what he meant by it. I thought he meant like maybe FBI finding the social media posts and stopping them beforehand. I don't know.
Well, isn't that why they need access to all of our data?
That's, of course, to keep us safe. Yeah. And apparently they
can't
do that. We'd have like 10 times as many mass shootings. I'm going to skip over this one since we don't have a lot of time. Let's get to a couple especially dumb ones that I heard on the news.
It seemed like a rifle, he said, a semi-automatic rifle, and it went on for several minutes.
Right, and look, that's not uncommon as well. These things can shoot dozens of bullets, in just one trigger pull, right? And so what happens in this case is sometimes they have enough time to reload. It's one of the most horrific things for students.
Nope.
What?
They can't. Can't do that.
These are the people making the arguments that you can't have guns. Yeah. That's the funny part. Like, there's a reason she said, or she didn't. Okay, I don't know her. I don't know what her education on guns is. There's a reason that she said semi-automatic. Mm-hmm. Okay, she didn't say automatic rifle.
This guy, the person was apparently, the gun this person was using could shoot a dozen bullets with one trigger bullet.
Dozens. With one.
Oh, he said dozens.
Yeah, dozens. Roughly 2.5 dozen.
And then they get time to reload from that. Mm-hmm. Do they all come out at the same time, or?
Yeah, it's got actually 30 barrels. Okay, here's someone.
And that guy says you shouldn't have a gun, by the way.
This is one person describing what the person had written on their guns. They do a little sleight of hand here for the ABC News audience when they're talking about what's written on the magazines.
23-year-old Robin Westman was able to leave what police called a video manifesto that they're now going through to try and establish motive. We've also been going through it and can tell you there are crude diagrams of the church. There are also photos of the weapons, and they include all sorts of writings, the names of past mass shooters, criticism of Israel, the name of President Trump written on the guns. There are also racial slurs.
Okay, just to clarify, it said kill Donald Trump on the gun. They didn't have the names of past mass shooters and the name of President Trump written on the magazine, which is how he just said those things. Mm-hmm. And so if you imagine ABC News viewers who aren't like following all the photos on X or whatever that are coming out, they're like, he had Adam Lanza and even had Atta on there. All these people, Trump, wow, like idolizing all these crazy people. That's nuts.
They like looped Trump in with the mass shooters,
which is why they said it like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's why they said it. I don't know what Dumb Bleep we're on. We're going to move on to the next one. I added this one in as its own independent one. That's the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, apparently is how you say his last name. There's no reason that F-R-E-Y should say Fry, in my opinion.
Talk to the monks about that.
I mean, ask your brother Try about that. So
I will.
Sorry, his brother's name's Trey, so it was funnier than you guys think it was. Here's some of the stuff that he had to say. So he gets his own Dumb Bleep.
These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance. These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our country.
I like it when they just say it. A bunch of like obviously true things like these kids should be playing with their friends.
Yep. This guy just got out of his drama class. It's almost like you always notice that in a movie when an intense scene is happening, they breathe a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if I can.
Yeah, hold their
make it.
It's a big scene.
He sounds like he's doing a movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he sounds like. Now, I'm not saying that he may be passionate about this stuff. That's possible, but I think he's acting.
I think it's okay to say like thoughts and prayers after a shooting. By the way,
yeah,
and
that's why he gets his own dumb.
I don't think it's wrong to say that. There's actually not a whole lot of other things that you can say, and like thoughts and prayers. Also, in my opinion, you're not praying for time travel to happen, for this to not have happened, or that you're praying for the families, like for them to be able to make it through this difficult time, and for the kids that are in the hospital to be able to recover and leave the hospital. You're not praying for God to take it back or anything like that. So people say like thoughts and prayers don't work. Like, what do you mean they don't work? I'm not saying that if I pray this, that we'll go back to yesterday morning and stop this from happening. You're praying for the people who just lost their kids.
Right.
So that doesn't even make sense, man. I don't even get it. And of course, what they mean is, well, thoughts and prayers, that's empty. The only thing that you can do, don't go to God. Go to the U.S. government.
We're your saviors.
Yes. We will take care of this. And here's how we're going to take care. 3 minutes. Good God. We're not going to go through it.
Statewide and a federal ban on assault weapons.
Okay, that's all we have to play of that one.
He said that for that applause.
He did. Yes.
Yes.
He's clarifying, here's why you shouldn't pray. We need a ban on assault weapons. And that way...
Cheer for me.
Yes. Because as you know, like handguns aren't deadly. Hardly anyone gets killed with handguns. You look at the crime stats, it's almost all assault weapons in America. Almost all of them, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Scary looking rifle.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost all... Right. Actually, it's more like fists and bats, knives and stuff like that. Like when you actually look at people getting killed, but whatever. Let's see. I want to hear him say this out loud, though.
Have more guns in America than we have people. The reality is that we have these assault rifles that can reel off 30 clips in conjunction with a magazine before the person even needs to reload.
What did he just say? Where can I get one of these?
It can reel off 30 clips within one magazine?
It can reel off 30 clips in conjunction with a magazine.
What does that even mean?
These criminals these days, they're, hold on, I want to hear him say that.
Is that we have these assault rifles that can reel off 30 clips in conjunction with a magazine before the
I think we should ban those. Honestly, I'm in favor of banning these weapons.
Wow. I knew this guy was gay. I just knew it. Just tell by looking at them.
Technically, the numbers aren't correct anymore because I snuck in the mayor between these two, just so you know. The next one, okay, this will be really fast, kind of. One thing that really bothered me coming out of this is it is true the shooter had put a couple things about Jews in the manifesto or the journal or whatever. But so many people, and especially this Misfit Patriot guy, and then there's an Awesome Jew on X. These are big, they got big accounts. StopAntisemitism.org. They decided to turn this was an anti-Israel, anti-Jewish attack.
That's why he shot a Catholic.
That's why he shot a Catholic school.
Yeah.
That, by the way, he attended. And his mom worked there. We didn't know that yesterday when we did the show. Yeah, and so there's many posts in here from Stop Anti-Semitism. Shocking anti-Semitic messages spotted on the Minneapolis shooter's gun, including Israel must fall, burn Israel. Those are not anti-Semitic, by the way. 6 million wasn't enough. Okay, borderline. And then, sorry.
We're getting canceled now for sure.
No, I mean, hating the government of Israel is not inherently anti-Semitic. That's the main point that I want to make. Like, it's a government that was formed in 47 or 48, whenever that paperwork was officially filed. I don't know when that was specifically. Burn Hayas, I don't know what that, originally a Jewish resettlement organization for refugees. And so Stop Anti-Semitism is very concerned about this. And what I don't like about any of these posts, like this one from the Misfit Patriot, this is exactly what I've been fighting so hard to prevent, and today we failed. He's been fighting hard to prevent a suicidal psychotic maniac who was obsessed with mass shootings from going and shooting up a Catholic school.
Also,
that's what it was.
Also, mostly leftist, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought anti-Semitic people were people on the right.
No, they're both.
Oh, okay.
No, definitely a lot of people on the left. No, he's mad at the people on the right. Misfit Patriot is, because he's a patriot, Republican patriot, and he goes after people on the right a lot. This is the guy who had that post saying, "I'm okay with as many dead kids as it takes to stop Hamas."
Yeah.
So on the barrels,
on his gun, he has 50,000 isn't enough.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to go
to how many dead Palestinian children.
This little
50,000 is not enough for Misfit Patriot.
Yeah, because he's a patriot. He cares about life. There's a little video he posted. He said, "I wonder what possibly could have inspired the shooter to carry out this act of terrorism. I'm seeing a lot of ignorant, he targeted Christians, not Jews, comments already. But what these absolute morons don't understand is that in the real world, outside of their Twitter echo chamber, the vast majority of Christians are Zionists. So we attack these Christians because those Christians are Zionists and they support Israel, just so you know." And he says, "You can either get on board with the movement that inspired a mentally unstable psychopath to murder children in cold blood today, or you can denounce it. This both sides have valid points. Bullshit is over." And what's playing now on the screen, if you're watching, are posts on X. Basically, you've got the shooter's rifle that says Israel must fall. And those words, if you type them in on X, you will find other posts that people have posted saying Israel must be dismantled. Okay, we got that. This person says Israel needs to be dissolved. This person, let's see, says Israel must be dismantled. This one says Israel must fall. And that is how this person got radicalized to kill these kids at a Catholic school. Are posts like that.
Yep.
And let's see, once again, saying that this was like an Arab supporter or whatever, because he had Muhammad Atta written on the bottom of one of the guns. As we know from reading through some of the journal yesterday, this person was obsessed with mass murder and idolized people who killed large amounts of people at a single time.
It didn't matter where they came from.
No, went through all the different mass killers throughout history
as heroes.
Yes. He responded to Dave Smith, who talked about to go live yesterday, and says, "Cool, maybe talk about how you and your friends Holocaust denial led to a guy shooting up a bunch of kids today. Thanks, F-face. So it was Holocaust. By the way, if it's Holocaust denial, why would this person put 6 million wasn't enough? That's saying that they believe in the Holocaust, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't make any sense. Okay. Awesome Jew says, make no mistake, everyone on X spreading anti-Semitic propaganda bears responsibility for fueling this mass shooting.
Not against Jews.
Yes.
Against Catholic school children.
And so what bothered me the most about all these posts is that there's, first off, kids who died. There's a bunch of other people, 17 other people who were shot as well. One of the kids is still in critical condition, I believe. And all these people going through a terrible time. People are talking about some of the actual problem, at least a little bit, hardening targets, and then people are talking about guns. And the super pro-Israel Zionist people over here saying, don't forget about me.
Yeah.
Don't forget about us. This is actually, since this person had a couple things written on their guns, this was actually about hatred for us.
And here's a question, though. What does the Misfit Patriots want? Do they want to censor X?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what they
would? Oh, I can't speak.
And if they would have,
for him,
if we would have censored X, anything remotely Jewish, then this shooting wouldn't have happened.
It just would not have happened, huh?
Okay.
Not one bit. This person did put, if I did carry out some racially motivated attack, it would most likely be against filthy Zionist Jews. I hate those entitled, penny-pinching K-words, free Palestine. And that is what he had to say about that. If he were to do a racially motivated attack, that is who he would choose.
But he says something important there. He says, I don't want to do it to spread a message. I do it to please myself.
Yeah.
That's a demon talking, for sure.
Also said, I hate Arabs and Indians. I find them repulsive. N-words can be all right. So anyhow, that's what we got
invited
there.
to the barbecue once.
On an unrelated note, and potentially the last one, because we're running long here, we'll see. There was a strike carried out by Israel earlier
twice
that many people have heard of, and it is the strike on a hospital where they double tapped the hospital. And everyone listening already knows this whole story, but they hit the hospital and they do this thing where they wait 15 minutes. In this case, it was 17 minutes, I believe, after some first responders show up and other people show up to try and help people that are in the rubble, and then they hit it again to kill those people. God. Which is absolutely freaking disgusting and not what God wants you to do, you idiots. Just so everyone knows. An absolutely disgusting thing.
Wow, you're so anti-Semitic, man.
Now
I saw this, by the way.
They came out there. I didn't bring in the video, but there's a video where after the first strike, someone had it on camera watching people trying to help people in the rubble, and they get it on video. The second strike happening. God. It's just absolutely terrible, and no excuse for it. But they did give us an excuse, Charlie, a great one. They were trying to destroy what they think might have been a camera that Hamas was running. So,
well, the camera shoots, and anything that shoots,
that's dangerous.
Is dangerous.
They were fired upon first.
Yeah,
actually.
What was the camera doing?
Just sitting there doing camera stuff
in a hospital.
Now it turns out, according to reporting from Ryan Grimm and Dropsite News, this was actually a Reuters camera that they had placed at the building just to get news, basically, and it got destroyed.
Why can't? I mean, I get Hamas is the enemy, but why can't they have a camera?
Well, you can't have your enemy seeing stuff that's going on
at a hospital.
You know, yeah. Even if you...
Well, you're saying that this justifies it.
Yeah, that is the ridiculous part, regardless, is that you're like, you know what? There's
camera so many
there.
Dumbs in the Dumbs.
Listen, Charlie, they got snipers. Israel, they are highly trained. They got snipers from a mile away can take out a child. Okay? Highly skilled individuals here. And you're telling me that they couldn't have hit the camera? Just take it out?
Guess not.
Instead, they had to bomb the building because they think there might have been a camera, which they were wrong about. It was a Reuters camera, but whatever, who cares? That they hit the building. And not only that,
they had to double tap
just to be sure that the cameras, they're sneaky. They can withstand a lot of stuff. They had to double tap it 17 minutes later in order to take out this camera. And that's their excuse.
Yeah. And talking about it in any sort of negative way makes you anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Which just pisses me off.
Of course it does. So that's number 7. We don't have to go any further into that. And that might be enough just to close. We don't have time.
We can finish. We got 2 more. I mean, 8, 9.
Do we have 2 more? Oh,
so there's 9.
So it's this. Sorry, because I squeezed that one in there. This was actually number 8. And so so we're actually on the last one right now. It's more of a public service announcement, but it's someone like people aren't going to like this one. That's why I was willing to skip over it. This is one that just people are going to like disagree with us on. This one involves using the word usury, and which the Bible says is a bad thing. The older stuff, pretty sure, not sure, 100%. We're going to play a video of a girl going over her mortgage information. Wall Street Apes posts out, American has the schedule of payments for her mortgage. Her payment is $5,700 a month. It's quite a lot. After over 4 years of 50 payments, that's $285,000 paid, but only $50,000 goes to principal. $230,000 goes just to interest. With interest over 30 years, you're actually going to end up paying $1.6 million. Her home only cost $784,000. So she's paying $1.6 million for a $784,000 home because of interest. Again, this is usury. So I'm sympathetic to, I'll admit, I don't want to chastise people for having a view that I've had many times in the past that's seen like, oh, you're going to pay $1.6 million after the bank. They gave you $784,000 and you're going to pay them back $1.6 million over the course of 30 years.
You didn't have the money.
Yeah, that's the first part. You didn't have the money.
So when you borrow it, you have to find the most favorable terms.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, there aren't many mortgage companies that don't front load the interest. By the way, you're paying an APR, which is a daily calculation of the daily balance.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it's front loaded.
It's front loaded, but so that sounds like they're doing something to screw you. Maybe they are. I'm not totally just defending the banks. They do it because the first year you have borrowed $784,000 from them. And so they charge you the interest on $784,000, but you have a fixed payment of $5,700 a month over the course of 30 years. And so the interest is higher in that first year because the interest is on the principal that you owe them. Okay?
And they're trying
so it's more interest at that time.
Well, that's why I said it's a daily APR rate. But also they're trying to protect the risk.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also calculated most people hold on to homes for about 5 years.
Yeah.
So hardly anyone is paying the 30 years worth of interest.
Mm-hmm.
You're changing hands. And most of the time, for most people, you have more equity in the home after 5 years than you did previously. So even after you pay the bank the interest and you pay off the home, you still have money in the bank. You made money in that real estate transaction. So, I mean, I understand it seems quite ridiculous when you look and you're barely scratching the surface of a principal. But if you look at the terms of your loan, the interest can only be applied for that monthly period. So if you make extra payments during the same month, that entire payment goes towards principal.
Mm-hmm.
So they can only do it on a rolling 30-day basis, basically, or something like that. It's a monthly basis, but essentially it's a rolling 30 days. So any extra payments you make, I think if you make one extra payment a year, you can cut your mortgage down from 30 years to like 22 years, and you save like hundreds of thousands of dollars on interest, especially on a loan at this amount. So $784 paying $5,700 a month. She's probably at a 5 or 6% interest rate on this.
She had a 5.6% interest rate, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there you go, 5.6.
Yeah. By the way, so also you have to take into account banks have $784,000. Okay. They could do many different things with that $784,000. There are a lot of different things they could do. If they were to, say, put it in the stock market for 30 years, over the past 30 years, the S&P 500 has gone up over 1,000%. All right? So they could put it in the stock market if they wanted to do that. Now, when they're doing it with a home, they have an asset, they can put it on the books, you know, they're making money off of it as well. You have to consider the alternative uses of that resource, which is the fake money that they create in a computer.
The biggest thing Bailey said here, people don't get that they are paying for the privilege to buy something without needing cash up front. Here's the thing. You couldn't afford it.
Mm-hmm. She's also got a VA loan. She didn't put anything up front. She didn't have to pay mortgage interest either.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit extra on there, but like a lot of people, you know, they don't get the privilege of serving our government, you know, and they have to put money up front or they got to pay for the PMI. One thing I want to say before I play this, do you know what $784,000 30 years ago would be worth today?
Probably about 1.6.
$1.68 million.
Yep.
So when you're a bank and you're giving someone money and there's a loan over the course of 30 years, you have to take into account
you're breaking even.
That money today is worth more than money tomorrow. Now, not exactly because they are receiving that money throughout that period. I know.
I'm making a joke.
Yeah, I know. No, I wanted to make that point because it's not as easy as how I just made it sound, like $784,000. It's not that they don't get that money back until 30 years from now. They're getting some of it the entire time. Mm-hmm. So they haven't lost the inflation for that entire $784,000. But it is just pretty crazy that they're complaining about it, you paying them $1.6 million, and $784,000 30 years ago would be worth $1.6 million today.
Yeah.
It's almost like they've got this worked out somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
It's almost like they know some mathematicians.
Yeah. There's one more point that she continues making in here, and we'll play.
So my husband and I refinanced our mortgage today because interest rates dropped, and it was enough to save us $300 a month. However, I have in my hands the amortization schedule, which is how long it's going to take us to pay off said mortgage and how much would go towards principal and interest each month. And I want to use this to talk to you about why home buying in America is an absolute fucking scam and why this will be the last house we ever buy in this country. So just really quick facts. It's a standard 30-year mortgage. It's a VA loan, so I didn't have to put anything down in order to refinance, and I don't have to pay any mortgage insurance.
So you just said it's not a scam, and I do want to make, like, people have a natural hatred for banks. These terms...
I mean, you're free to go build a house yourself.
Yeah, these terms are organized in a way that is most beneficial for the bank, or they just wouldn't give you the money. They just put it somewhere else. And people now treat banks that are giving people home loans like they're supposed to be some kind of social welfare good, that they're supposed to give you money without making money off of it at all. And that's not a good idea. That's why the Wall Street Apes, I think, is the page we got this from, said that this is usury, that a 5.6% interest rate or whatever it is usury. In the Bible, usury is any interest on something. Legally now, it's only like excessive interest on something, which I don't believe in. I think go get a better interest rate somewhere else. So you can't. That means it's a market rate for you taking someone else's money because you need it. I think that money can be used in multiple ways. And so if I can take my money and invest it this way and make a return off of it, why would I give it to you instead? I would only do that if I can make as much or if I can make more, if I'm going to give it to you instead. And that is how I'm going to use this money. Okay? All right, sorry, we'll play a little bit more.
Which is what normal people have to pay when they don't put 20% down. But because we didn't put anything down, I went from owing $784,000 on my home back up to $795,000. But my original interest rate on this house was 6.2%, and now it is 5.6%. We are planning on selling this house when my husband retires in 4 years and exiting the U.S. So, of course, I was interested to see what will I owe at that time in 2030. And at that point in 2030, we will owe just under $750,000. So I will only have paid off $50,000 worth of my mortgage in the next 4 years. But the math ain't mathin' because my payment is $5,700 a month. $5,700 a month times 50 payments is $285,000. And if you...
So I'm going to skip to the point that I want to make here. She keeps saying that home buying in America is a scam. We're going to leave them. This is the last house that we buy in America. And I'm going to tell her right now that she's got, I've got bad news for you. This is common practice all around the world because this is how loans work. The first year, the reason so much of it is interest is because you owe them the total amount. Okay. And so there's interest on that amount.
You have no risk.
And since you
you literally have zero skin in the game.
Since you want a fixed payment of $5,700 and you need to pay the interest that you owe them that year on that amount that they are floating you, the bulk of your payment is interest, not towards the principal. As the principal goes down, that means there's less interest charged on the remaining amount, meaning more of your payment is principal. As more time goes on, because the principal's lower, there's less interest calculated, and they've figured it out where it's going to be $5,700 a month the whole time. Yeah. Unfortunately for her, she keeps blaming this on America and our evil, greedy banks. And this is how loans work. There are some countries that don't do this. That she would have to find. There's a few of them. I actually got a list.
I'm sure their houses are wonderful.
Yeah, really great. About half the size of that one, and about 1 foot away from the next person's house.
Also, there's another way to pay less interest. You buy a less expensive home.
Yeah, houses are getting expensive, man.
They are. They are. But $784,000 is quite a lot.
I would think if you plan on selling your house in 4 years, you are selling your house in 4 years, that you would dig into this before you buy the house and figure that out. And
but also
probably realize that,
you're probably still going to make money or break even. Like you get to use the property. So you're basically you're paying to rent the property. And then when you sell it, you're going to probably have equity unless the town you bought it in just goes to hell in those handbaskets we were talking about earlier.
Let me see. Many countries like Canada, the UK, Australia, and much of Europe, fixed rate or variable rate amortizing mortgages are common. These work similarly to U.S. mortgages. Monthly payments are fixed, and interest is calculated on the remaining principal, leading to higher interest payments early in the loan term. For example, in Canada, mortgages often have shorter terms, like 5 years before renewal. You got to renew your mortgage, but the amortization schedule still front loads the interest during each term. In the UK, repayment mortgages also allocate more interest up front. Let's see. They got interest-only mortgages common in the UK, Australia, and some European countries. These require borrowers to pay only interest for a period 5 to 10 years, with the principal due later or paid through other means. That sounds actually worse than what we do here in America.
Interest.
Yeah. There are, Netherlands, Germany. This involves equal principal repayments each month, with interest decreasing over time. This results in higher total payments early, but less front-loaded interest compared to standard amortization. So higher payments.
Which, by the way, in her example, she's probably paying at $5,700. I would say, let's just say it's $4,700 towards interest in the first year and $1,000 towards principal. Because that would make sense because she said she's going to make $5,000, or after 50 payments, she's only going to be down 50% on the principal. So that would make sense.
Yeah.
So let's say $4,700 is going towards principal, $1,000 is going towards the whatever you want to call it. If you were to go the route of the straight line where you would have to equal out the principal, then she would be paying $9,400 a month.
Maybe decreasing as some time goes on, maybe.
Well, I'm just saying to start, let's say that's the first year and the next year is $8,400 or whatever. So then you'd have to be able to afford that type of payment structure.
Yeah.
Either way, you're borrowing a lot of money.
And it turns out banks in other countries also want to make money off of their money because they have other things that they can do. So there's like two dumbs to this, in my opinion. One,
let's just get rid of banks.
This is just how. Well, I mean, if you have
start building your house,
you go back to the old savings and loan and stuff like that. I'm fine with that. But I don't like it when people are so against usury, like the practice of making money off of money. Because money has alternative uses. It's a resource like anything else.
Yep.
And you do want to make money off of your money because you could do something else with it. You could, instead of giving someone a loan for a home, you could invest in a business if you wanted to do that. And so you want people to be able to make money off of their money if you need to use someone else's money to buy something that you want. That's part of the deal. That's part of the game right there. Second, the idea that, well, we're never buying a house in America again because our system is ridiculous. And then come to find out, you got a couple countries you could go to where maybe you could do this equal principle, but you can have like almost double the payment. If you're so mad about it being front loaded, you could go pay double the payment somewhere else. But this is in fact like common practice around the world because that's just how all the banks in the world have figured out makes the most amount of sense.
Unless you want to, build your own house.
Yeah.
Which
all right.
Which you can do, by the way.
Let's get those votes in real quick. Number one is the Intel thing. Number two, Scotland, the BBC blurring out the knife and the hatchet, and also someone getting charged with having a knife in the first place. Number three, Charlie Kirk submit. Number four, the flag burning situation, whole thing. Number five, the media and politicians. We did separate out. Number six, Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, saying all his dumb stuff. Number seven has to do with the shooting, but it was the Misfit Patriot. This was actually about the Jews, even though it was an attack on Catholics. And really, this person was just insane. I do have to mention, by the way, like even a show like I listen to Morning Wire, which is a Daily Wire show. Let's do it every day on my way over here. Just see what's going on. They do a pretty good job. The only thing they mentioned was that they did in fact find something where this guy said he was tired of being trans and wanted to cut his hair, but that was the last thing like that was still making him be trans and just didn't want to do it and wished he'd never gone down this path. And that's like the only thing that they mentioned because they're still trying to do this trans shooter narrative, and it's the trans thing that motivated the shooting and all that. When in fact, when you read more of the journals like we did, this person it was just obsessed with mass shootings and literally talked about wanting to hear the screams of little children, even criticize other shooters who killed a bunch of people but weren't able to hear their screams, criticize a Las Vegas shooter because he was too far away to hear people suffering. And so that like this person was just insane. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyhow, I was disappointed in that. So we got the Misfit Patriot talking about this was really a Jewish thing. Number 8, double tap to destroy a camera and 20 people along with this super important camera. Can't.
That's a mass missiling.
It's just crazy. Number 9, the conversation about usury. And so let's get those votes in while Charlie tells you.
Get your votes in. Share the show. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go to godhatesfeds.com. That's where you can pick up some wonderful merchandise, seeing some orders coming through. So that's awesome. Glad you guys are enjoying that. That helps support Nate's
gambling habits,
protein shake habits.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that. There's a button on there that says Join GML. You can click that or go directly to joingml.com. Be part of the Fed Haters Club. Get your votes in every single day of the week when we do Dumb Bleep. I am out of here for all of next week. So you have Nate and I think maybe an interview or two that may be happening in the new studio. So that's
actually leaving Wednesday night. I'll be gone Thursday and Friday next week.
Oh,
yeah.
So I guess you get Tuesday and Wednesday.
You get Tuesday, Wednesday.
Because Monday.
I might do something on Monday. I'm not going to be.
We'll see.
Because I got to watch your cats, I don't want to leave your cats for that long.
Yeah, you do.
So.
Better not skip a day.
Hey, right now we have a tie in the voting. It's between the Minneapolis Mayor Fry and the Misfit Patriot This is actually about anti-Semitism online. So
it was just broken.
The other ones, and it's tied again. So the other ones are out. It's between those two. Pull your votes and go towards either Misfit Patriot and Fry. And
how is that happening?
So we've got going. Well, we're going to break the tie if it's still a tie when I finish counting down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Charlie, tiebreaker.
No, you break it.
Someone just pulled a vote or something. I don't. So it's actually the Misfit Patriot. Okay, that's
all
you.
right.
And it's also Stop Anti-Semitism and Awesome Jew. So that whole idea. Don't forget about us. This is actually about us.
Yep. All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. And if you did, do all those things I said. Be back next week for some Nate Solo. And we appreciate each and every one of you. I am going to go work a little bit less. Still a few things for me to do next week, but
still going to work some.
But it's going to be nice to not have so many things on my plate. And then I'll go visit the beach every once in a while I'm down there in Alabama.
Have fun.
Hopefully see Forrest, maybe. It's always my goal. And eat some shrimps and do all those things I said or don't. I don't really care, but Nate does. And if you do, then he'll be back next week. Hope you have a good day, a good Labor Day, and a good morning, Liberty.